Hi, and welcome to Rabbit Moon Tarot. I'll be doing a collective read today, and if you've been here before, you'll know that I've been putting chapter markers in the video, so you'll find out in the timeline or in the description box below, along with the decks that I've used and any references that I might make, whether it's songs or stories, that sort of thing. But if you're new to my channel, thank you so much for stopping by and taking a chance on this teeny tiny little tarot channel. I know I'm new and I don't have much in my library, but I'm excited to read, and thank you so much for any likes, shares, and subscribes. They are much appreciated. I do have a little bit of a tarot intro. It's nothing intense, but just food for thought. So, tarot and oracle, as I see it, are tools for self-reflection. They're only meant to help guide you when you're using your inner moral compass in pursuit of your own particular brand of happiness. I'm an intuitive reader, so I understand the cards, but I also rely on my guides, spirits, the universe, or the cosmos, if you will, to help bring in messages. Now, cards, there's only so many cards in a deck, so sometimes a card will come out and I will hear a distinctive message attached to that card. It's just that my ancestors or guides are picking the closest approximation to bring in their message. So it's up to me to interpret it, and it's up to you to figure out whether or not it resonates. And when I say resonates, I don't mean bend it and twist it to make it fit. When I say resonate, it means when you hear a certain part of the reading, if it doesn't like pull on a heartstring where you're like, oh, that was me last year, or I'm actually going through that right now, or this is something I'm concerned about having. That's what I mean by resonate. This is not you hear it and you're like, well, that's not me. Well, then the message isn't for you. I tap into a lot of collectives, so I do my best to read the strongest message that comes forward. But there are different collectives that I read for. So my readings aren't like continuous. It's not like part 1, part 2, part 3. If it resonates, if it pulls on a heartstring, if it makes you think of a memory, that's how you know the reading is for you. But most importantly that I want to say is you are the maestro of your own destiny. And I believe in fate and destiny. I believe it 100, but I also think that they only take you so far. They afford you opportunities, paths, doorways to happiness and abundance. But it's up to us and it's up to you to take those chances, to make those decisions, to walk those paths. If this timeline isn't the one that you're into, then make decisions to shape your reality to exist and walk and learn and grow and love on a different timeline. Because you are the maestro of your own destiny, you have full autonomy and free will. So you can change the life that you're walking at any point. You hold the power, so don't give it up to a tarot reading. I'm reading the energy as it stands right now, but it's liable to change based on the decisions that you make and the decisions of others. So just remember, you're the maestro and you co-create with the universe. Okay, so I'm going to be doing a pre-shuffle with these things called keyword cards. It is cards that have a ton of little different words on it. And when a card comes out, whatever my eye is drawn to first is generally the energy that I'm working with in the collective, or the particular collective that I'm tapping into today. So I'm going to split the deck, look at the bottom, do that twice, and that's going to be like the pre-shuffle. This is the energy that the collective that I'm tapping into today may be feeling coming into this reading, and then we'll pick some cards for the actual reading. So let's see where we're at right now. So I have wisdom, endurance, survival, and then I saw crumbling foundations meant to allow to build. So essentially it feels like, okay, I just heard having the presence of mind and knowing when to let go. Knowing when to stop trying to hold that house of cards and let them fall so that you can build an actual stable situation, whatever it is. So you may be feeling that, the collective, you may feel like you're in kind of a maybe precarious kind of situation. Maybe you feel like there's not a whole lot of stability in it, and you may be in your head a lot about it, and you have the wisdom and the experience and the knowledge to know, to recognize the signs, to recognize the I guess you could say premonitions even. But I feel like it's almost like you know that these cards are going to fall through your wisdom and experience. You know that this house of cards is going to fall, and like preparing so that you can rebuild. Okay. So then we have hidden in element and digging. And then I heard, why do I do that? I saw cloaked and covering. So interesting. Hidden element and digging is what I saw. And then cloaked, covering, coat. So again, going back to that wisdom card and the crumbling foundation, you all feel you're in a situation currently that may not be ideal, but through your own wisdom and experience and inner knowing, you can tell that the foundation, that this house of cards is going to fall. But there's something in this that's making me feel like someone or something is wearing a mask, trying to pretend that it is not that way. It's like a car that's riddled with rust. Someone just puts a coat of paint on it and said, no, it's totally fine. Like they're wearing a mask. You know underneath it, it's rusting away. You can see that. And I don't know if that's something that you see within your own situation and yourself. Like you can understand that your mask, what you present to the world, is falling. And understand the mask falling isn't a bad thing. It's a good thing. And the reason why I say that is because when we wear a mask, it's generally trying to placate the world, the media, social norms, our family paradigms, all this kind of stuff, because we feel like we need to be a certain way. We need to be labeled a certain way, act a certain way to be a functioning adult. And oftentimes putting aside that voice within us that's like, hey, I'm not happy, and I would feel more happy if I could live more authentically. But we are constantly being told, again, by media and society, that we should be a certain way. And so we kind of try to cram ourselves into these, square peg, round hole kind of situations. So the collective, you may be looking at a situation that you can recognize through your own experience and wisdom that is crumbling, and that you know it's happening, and you know it has to happen. The house of cards has to fall in order to rebuild, because you recognize that house of cards that has to fall was a mask, either for the situation that you're seeing, the situation that you're in, or in yourself. Either way, the mask dropping reveals the truth, and that's what really needs to be addressed. That's what really needs to be the main point. And again, I am hearing you're speaking to the choir. Or you're preaching to the choir. That's how it is. So okay. Since I heard that you're preaching to the choir, you already know. You already know. Again, through your wisdom, through your experience, with your own inner knowing, you see the house of cards or the mask falling. It needs to in order to rebuild. All right. I mean, the collective seems to have a handle on it. So let's continue going forward. Let's pick some cards for the actual reading. Okay, so what we have is just look below the gray. Beautiful days will return soon. That's what I just saw. Right there. I don't know. Let me... right there. Okay, again. Collective, y'all may have some latent intuitive abilities, because it's like you already seen this mask falling from a mile away. And you know that a little bit of upheaval, a little bit of transformation, a little bit of gray days leads to brighter days. Like, you know that you can weather the storm. I'm seeing from my animal deck that I have, the buffalo. And when I say that, for those who haven't seen the reading where I use the animal deck, it is a deck that has animals on it, and they each symbolize something else. The buffalo specifically represents strength and intuition. And that I know from loving animals and watching Blue Planet and Animal Planet and all that kind of stuff, that when there is a storm, buffaloes tend to walk into the storm because they know by weathering the storm face on, they reach the other end and come out of the storm sooner, rather than running away from it and the storm's behind them. You know what I mean? If you walk towards a coming storm, you're out of it faster. So in a sense, you all are kind of that buffalo energy, that deeply spiritual, that deeply grounded, that intuitively knowing that if you face the masks falling, that truth is there, that you can rebuild, and that better days are ahead of you. Okay, so then I heard reading a good book, learning, and getting needed info. That sounds like research. That sounds like research. With this deeply intuitive kind of like I said, buffalo energy, grounded, understanding that the mask needs to fall in order to truly heal, whether or not it's a situation that you perceive, a situation you're in, or it has to do with your own inner world. You understand that needs to happen. And that likely has come from, I'm hearing, doing the research. Like maybe you're reading a lot about mental health or behavioral cognitive therapy, or practicing mindfulness, or studying yoga. Maybe you're looking up, spiritual awakening or Kundalini awakening. There feels like there's research being done that is helping you understand and kind of navigate as this change is happening or this change is approaching. That is a lot, but I'll take the one that popped up. Then I saw a quick exit undercover. Interesting. I keep saying I heard. I mean to say I see, but it is because I hear a lot of stuff. So I saw a quick exit and undercover. So, okay. This feels like the mask needs to fall. Again, whether or not it's a situation you're perceiving, you're in, or you're talking about your inner world, that the mask needs to fall. The cards need to fall. You got to weather the storm, because the sooner you do, the sooner you're out of it. The mask falling, the card house falling, so you can build something new, is building towards happiness. You understand that through the research that you've done. Again, whether or not it's psychology, practicing mindfulness, spiritual awakening, Kundalini awakening, whatever that means. And it almost feels like as soon as you get, as soon as you get like a foothold, I'm seeing somebody in, like, when someone does Olympic racing, they have their feet in those footholds and they're like primed to run. And then the flag goes down and then the sprinters start running. I'm hearing quick exit like that. Undercover means that maybe people don't even see that you're ready to leave whatever situation, or you can perceive that someone is ready to leave a situation. We'll see how the cards come out, but I do see almost like a cheetah poised to run, or a sprinter poised to run, and when that flag goes down, when the mask drops, when the card house falls, and it exposes the truth, it exposes the grounds that need to be rebuilt, this person or you are off, ready to do the damn thing. The undercover part, again, it doesn't feel like malicious at all. For me, it feels like people didn't see this coming, but you did. I mean, you can't help that other people that didn't notice it, that can't see it, but you seen it. You saw it coming from a mile away. That's why you were poised and ready to take right off. Okay, so I'm going to be using a classic kind of Smith Waite kind of deck. I think what's it called? The Radiant Wise is what it's called. So let's story time. Let's see what's going on with the collective today. Ten of Cups. This is emotional stability and happiness. Again, I saw the sprinting person, or the cheetah primed. And by the way, when I say cheetah, I'm also seeing my animal deck. The cheetah in the animal deck is divine masculine energy. If that means anything to you, if that is pulling on one of those heartstrings, I mean, that's what's connected. This cheetah energy, this racer or the sprinter is poised, and once the opportunity comes that the way is cleared, like all the rubbish, all the fallen trees, everything, the house of cards, the mask, everything that's cleared away, they are singular minded, in focus, and just going right towards it. A very quick exit. Maybe people don't even notice it. Maybe people didn't even see the change because they move so fast. But this is why. This is the energy that the cheetah energy, or the divine masculine or divine solar energy is going through. This is someone encapsulating it. And if you're interested in what those terms mean, everybody has divine masculine and divine feminine in them. Like in your heart space. If you could just if you imagine yourself, your heart is like a yin and yang. Okay, everyone has divine masculine and divine feminine. Divine masculine energy is often associated with action, with fiery action. That's why I'm like, this feels like divine masculine energy, because they are poised and ready. And also the cheetah energy that I saw in my head. They're poised and ready to like quickly take action on this opportunity once it presents itself. Because this is what the energy is going to. It doesn't matter how you identify gender-wise. If you are sprinting towards your happiness, you're encapsulating divine masculine energy action. This is what this is all about. There's a level of emotional stability that the collective is like, hey, I see like that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, happiness. I need to be ready, because when that flag comes down and everyone's like, okay, you can run towards your happiness, I am gone. I am gone like 60 seconds. I'm there. I'm already there. I don't know what you guys are taking so long for. That's what it feels like. There's a hustling feeling, like I need to get to this. I need to get to this quick. Okay, so we have the Four of Cups. Now, normally this means like disinterested, or like removing yourself from perhaps like offers or other, like, I would say like romantically inclined situations. So like this would be like not really interested in putting yourself on a dating app, not really interested in going on blind dates, not really interested in going to parties and stuff, because you already know through your experience and through your wisdom and through your intuition and through deep study and deep introspection, you know where you're supposed to be. And once that flag comes down, once you get the chance to move towards an ultimate happiness, whatever it is, you are there. You are just opening the throttle on your bike, or you are sprinting towards like a cheetah or like an Olympic race sprinter, whatever they're called. This is not being deterred. This person is not being deterred by these cups down here. They're only focused on the cup that the universe is offering. The Ace of Cups is about profound romantic starts, or profound emotional renewal, profound emotional beginnings. This is the energy of I am singular-minded in my focus. I can't be dissuaded from where I want to go. The universe already has this Ace of Cups ready for me. That's what I'm focused on. All these other ones that see how this salesperson's looking down at these. They're like, nah, I'm good. No, I don't need to be set up. No, I don't want to go to that party. No, I don't want to have a million dating apps. Nah. I already know where I want to be. And when I say this emotional happiness, this may not even be a person. Maybe you're not even, dating is not a thing. Maybe what your emotional happiness is centered someplace else. This is just emotional happiness. It doesn't have to be romance. Oftentimes it is, but if it resonates, like you're like, no, I can't, I'm not ready to be dating. I'm trying to get my career right, or I'm trying to get my education right, or I'm trying to get my dreams actualized, by getting this off the ground. Then that's it. That's what you're singularly focused on. Okay, so we have the Sun in reverse. Now, the Sun in reverse, I think, talks about how we once are, what's the word I want to use? Not stifling, but I guess I will use stifling. How we were once stifling ourselves away from our own happiness. And again, this is under the card, look below the gray, beautiful days will soon return. So the Sun card is underneath this card. This is that moment where we recognize that we may have been living in self-limiting thoughts. We may have been living in, and not say that it's perceived and that wasn't actually there. No, maybe there was a perception that you were living in gray days and that you were stunted or stifled. And maybe there was a reality where you were actually held back because, family members had expectations, and they were like, if you don't stay and help us, and you're not a good daughter, son, whatever. And you were living in a way that wasn't authentic and happy to you. But the next card that came out was the Judgment card, which means you are no longer, and the Judgment card is under the research. The research card of, like, again, spiritual awakening, Kundalini awakening. Maybe you're reading psychology articles or practicing behavior cognitive therapy, practicing mindfulness. The Judgment card is divine intervention. In the way I see it, divine intervention, hearing the call, knowing where you're supposed to go, finding purpose in whatever this is, recognizing the purpose and happiness in whatever this is. The clarion call. It's like you wake up one morning and you're just like, let's say this is, you want to start a YouTube channel. You wake up one morning and you're just like obsessed with like, okay, well, logistically, if I was to do this thing, how would I do it? You just do it. You're getting called to do it. The desire, the call, the pulling has been placed there by the universe in order to pull you back onto the path that you were meant to walk, the path that is in line with your greatest good and your ultimate happiness. So you're not interested in being distracted. You recognize that in some ways, you were either being forced to live in gray days and in situations that weren't happy, or there was a perception you were feeling like you couldn't leave, but now you felt like the call. You felt the motivation, the drive to act on what you need to act on in order to feel fulfilled, order to feel like I just keep hearing life's purpose, but working towards your life's purpose, your life's goals, your destiny, if you will. Okay, so that came out. That just kind of hovered on my hand like this. So we have the King of Cups. This energy is someone who is diplomatic, who is emotionally stable, who is giving, who is warm, who is committed to their relationships for the long haul. So there's something about, again, when this happens, I always try to point it out. I don't purposely do love readings because that's all I want to do. It's all the messages that I'm being given. I've tried to focus on business and career and self-love and all that. Well, that's still love readings because self-love is love. But career readings, social dynamic readings, but it always ends up coming back to love. That's what I hear. So this judgment call is someone becoming this. They want to be more stable. And again, gender doesn't matter. King of Cups just represents the idea of being diplomatic, fair, emotionally available, emotionally balanced, warm, nurturing, intuitive, trusting their intuition. So there is this energy of recognizing the life that they were leading before was maybe stunting their spiritual growth or stunting their alignment growth. Like they weren't aligned, or you weren't aligned with what you really wanted to do. So you're living for someone else. If we go back to these oracle cards, it's recognizing that dropping the mask, those house of cards falling, reveals the truth. It's like getting yourself out of this situation, moving away from those gray days to see that there's sun on the horizon. Through the aid of research, you understand that happiness is within reach. And so happiness is within reach. So once you recognize you have the road is clear, you're bolting towards it. Staying focused, not getting distracted, realizing that you've pulled yourself out of the cloudy days. You felt called to this path. You feel like this is what you're supposed to do because ultimately you want to feel more balanced. You want to feel better about yourself. I feel like self-esteem is a big proponent in this. And also being intuitive, trusting your gut, trusting that little voice inside your head that says, hey, no, this doesn't really feel right, or this is what really makes you happy. And again, it doesn't have to be a romantic reading, but it does feel like it is a reading of a journey of realizing self-worth and intuitively knowing that improved self-worth improves your love life and improves connection. And then we have the Two of Pentacles. So, collective, you're at a point in which, okay, so yeah, this is where you want to be. So there is a distinctive choice to make, weighing the options. And this is Pentacles, so it has to do with like 3D stuff, like physical things. This is, do I need to change my job? Do I need to move from my house or my apartment? How do I want to approach this situation? This is like oftentimes when I see the Two of Pentacles, it makes me feel like the energy before the Two of Wands. The Two of Wands is making a plan, like scheduling a flight, interviewing for jobs, researching universities that you want to. It's planning for the action. I feel like the Two of Pentacles is the thought before the planning. This is like brainstorming. This is weighing the options. How do I want to do this before I actually start putting plans into action? So you felt the call. You want to be more intuitive and balanced and better self-esteem. And this may have to do with a relationship, but it could just be happiness, an ultimate happiness. But you have to figure out, okay, logistically, what do I do first? How do I want to plan this? It's not, you can't, there's not action to be taken yet because you have to figure out, you have to navigate kind of like the labyrinth of your mind to be like, okay, so I know ultimate happiness is what I want. And I know once the opportunity is presented to me, I'm going to rush forward like a bull. I said rush forward like a bull. You may be a Taurus and or have strong Taurus or Earth placement in your chart. So just saying. But this is thinking about it before actually doing the physical planning. It almost came out, but it didn't. Well, that's too much. That was like 6 cards. There we go. I said it's like the Two of Wands, and lo and behold, I can't even plan that shit. It's like the Two of Wands, but here it's in reverse. So it's like, collective, there's a lot of brainstorming going on. A lot of brainstorming going on. You don't feel ready to quite make the plans yet. You know you want to make the plans, but it feels like you have an idea. You're brainstorming. You're writing ideas down on how to do something. But you can't actually, you're not able to yet take action on those plans. So let's say you're thinking about whether or not you want to move to, I don't know, you want to move to Washington, right? So you're thinking about, well, logistically, how would I do that? Like, is Washington where I want to go? Let me do research about parks and stuff like that. You can't buy a ticket to fly to Washington yet because you haven't even decided what part of Washington you would want to go, or even Washington is the place that you want to go. Do you see what I mean? So I feel like in this energy, there is lots of brainstorming going on. You know what the ultimate happiness is. You're not going to be swayed by you're not going to be swayed off of your path, because you've pulled yourself out of living for other people. You felt the call to pursue your main happiness, or your ultimate happiness. And you want to have better self-esteem. You want to trust your gut more. But here's where we're at. This is where we're ending the story. Is that the collective as it stands, all this is true, but this still has to happen. There's still lots of planning. You can want something, and you could say, once that opportunity is afforded to me, I'm going to rush forward like a bull. But the start and the finish line are just 2 points. This is the finish line. Where's the start? There's no action to be taken yet because we're still thinking about how to move, what even needs to go into before buying plane tickets, packing up boxes, putting in your notice at work, that kind of thing. There's lots of considerations to be made. That's not to say that you're not going to do it. Again, buffalo energy, deep buffalo energy. I said rush forward like a bull, and buffaloes are sort of similar. So again, earth energy. You may have really strong earth placements. And that makes sense why you would be taking so much time thinking before any actions are taken. Because you're logical. You're logical. Once you make a decision, you're 100% all gung-ho. But you need to think about it first. You need to feel comfortable and ready for it. You understand that weathering the storm is important. The mask needed to drop. The House of Cards needed to fall so that truth could be exposed. And then you could realize, this is exactly where I want to be. And once it's clear, once that road is clear, I'm rushing forward like a bull. I can't be dissuaded. I stop living for other people. I'm feeling the call. I'm trusting my intuition. I just need to think about what I want to do first. I can't take any actions yet. I either can't take action yet, I'm not able to take action yet. Financially, I can't take action yet, but I'm definitely thinking. And it's the first stage, right? It's like when you're working collaboratively with people, you can't just go from conception phase to product. You have to try and plan out and do prototypes and stuff like that. There's a whole process to get to the end. So I like this energy. It doesn't show us the end goal yet, but it does show that there's conviction. There is a steadfastness. There is purpose. There is, and earth energy is a little bit more slow moving, and slow moving is not a dig. It's just purposeful. You know what I mean? Once it starts going, it is going, and it's not going to be swayed. But before the journey even can start being planned, there needs to be lots of consideration. So I feel like this is where we're at, collective. I'm gonna go ahead and pull one oracle to see what we have. Which one do I want to use? I'm going to use the surrender cards. Because I do feel like if we are dealing with earth energy, pardon me, I got to grab the cards. If we are dealing with earth energy, sometimes it's a little bit hard to let go of control in certain things. I know a lot of earth signs in my life. So we're going to use these surrender cards. So we're going to use just one to see if that'll help with. So, oh my gosh. Okay, I said I was going to use the surrender cards, and I grabbed the box out. Okay, let me just show you what happened. These are the surrender cards, and then this card box is on top. So I grabbed both of them out so I could, move this one off and grab this one. But instead of opening this one, I just went ahead and grabbed the Spirit from Messages and just started shuffling them like I was supposed to read from them. And I feel like that's a message from Spirit that, no, not the surrender cards. Not the surrender cards. We're going to use the card that just came out right now from Messages from Spirit. I'm not going to pontificate about what this means. This is specifically for you, the viewer. I'm going to read it and just let it marinate and take from it what you will. Synchronicity of all the cards, right? Synchronicity. Are you noticing the signs of synchronicity that the spirit world has been sending to you at this time? People and situations in your life are not just appearing by coincidence. In reality, they're being guided to you from the spirit world to help you for a specific reason. Let me read it one more time for the people in the back. Are you noticing the signs of synchronicity that the spirit world has been sending to you at this time? People and situations in your life are not just appearing by coincidence. In reality, they're being guided to you by the spirit world to help you for a specific reason. All right, that's the reading, guys. Thank you so much for being here. I know I'm a teeny tiny little tarot channel and I don't have a big library of videos, but I really appreciate all your likes, shares, and subscribes and all your time. But more specifically, I really appreciate your energy and being here and letting me read this for you. My name is Angel. This is Rabbit and Moon Tarot, and I will see you at the next reading.